And you may be thinking to yourself, gosh, Twitch is acting really lax about this. Well, it gets worse. Emiru alleges Twitch initially was only going to issue out a 30-day ban, a 30-day suspension is what that's called, to the guy that literally attempted to SA her.
My manager comes back to me and she's upset. She's like, okay, I've been talking to Twitch people and I'm really upset because I noticed a lot of negligence around the event and I'm not happy with the way that they're handling it now. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I asked them, you know, like, what are they gonna do about this? And you know what they said initially? They said, oh, well, he's banned from the platform for 30 days.
You would expect that running any event for 10 years would make it so that the people running it might actually know what they're doing. But for TwitchCon, that isn't the case. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest streamers, Emiru, was just recently assaulted at a meet and greet in this last TwitchCon just a few days ago. We'll start from when Emiru was attacked at her meet and greet, leading into how Twitch responded to it, or I should say their lack of a response until they were pressed. Lastly, we'll be closing out with Emiru's full response and anything that followed up after that. With all of that being said, let's jump into it. Full disclosure, I'm not going to be able to show you guys this clip. Reason for that is I've had multiple other YouTubers that have reached out to me to let me know that they have received strikes in regard to uploading this clip and showing it on their channel. I even had a friend of mine that fully blurred it and it still ended up resulting in them getting a strike. So to err on the side of caution, I am linking this down in the description. It's going to be the first link that you see, so you can go ahead and pause this video, watch the clip really quick. It's on Reddit. And then once you're done watching that, unpause this video and we'll talk about it. So what you saw there, and this is also from Emiru's retelling, is that this dude went past multiple barriers, actually crossed in front of some other individual who was doing a meet and greet, like another streamer entirely, and walked all the way over to Emiru and then grabbed her and attempted to kiss her. She screamed out, and that's when a security guard ran through and shoved them away. Now, there are some close-up clips of what looks to be what might have been a knife in his hand after the fact. Judging on how the security guard reacts and how everyone else does, I'm led to believe it might not be. We don't have confirmation of that. Emiru mentions at some point that she could have been stabbed, but that doesn't really confirm that she saw the guy have a knife. That isn't playing devil's advocate for the dude that tried to kiss her. For the record, it's just I don't want to tell you guys that there was a knife when that isn't absolutely true. Now, I'm going to go through this timeline in the way that we understood it as the story was progressing and as we were finding out more information. So Twitch ends up making a tweet about what had happened. They said, the safety and security of all those attending TwitchCon is our highest priority. The behavior displayed by the individual involved in the incident yesterday involving a high-profile streamer was completely unacceptable and deeply upsetting. In line with existing TwitchCon security protocols, law enforcement and event security were on site and responded to the incident. We immediately blocked this individual from returning to the TwitchCon premises, and they are banned indefinitely from Twitch, both online and in-person events. We are coordinating with the impacted creators team and, per our standard protocols, continue to cooperate with any law enforcement investigations. We've increased security at the meet and greet attendee check-in point and will have additional security personnel surrounding participating streamers. If you've RSVP'd for a meet and greet, please note that we are unable to accommodate +1s for the remainder of the event. Twitch has zero tolerance for harassment or acts that inhibit the safety and security of our community. So down here is a community note. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. According to Emiru, the assaulter was not detained until hours after the incident happened and was done so after her manager was pressing Twitch to do something. She also states that Twitch security did not step in when the incident happened and laughed about it afterwards. Well, let's take a look at Emiru's tweet that community note is referencing. Hello everyone, I am okay and thank you all for the kind messages. Sorry, I cannot respond to them all. Yesterday, the man who assaulted me was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon and even in front of another creator's meet and greet to grab me and my face and try to kiss me. Fortunately, he wasn't able to, but a lot of people have pointed out it could have been a lot worse. I'm obviously shaken up by what happened, and it's not the first time I've dealt with something like this, but to tell you honestly, I am a lot more hurt and upset by how Twitch handled it during and after the fact. Like I said, I don't understand how he was allowed to make it to me in the first place. The security in the clip who reacts is my own security. It's true, my favorite and usual security guard was banned for holding a stalker's arm to bring him to police at a past TwitchCon. We'll be covering that after this. However, there were at least 3 or 4 other TwitchCon security staff in the area who did not react and let the guy walk away, as you can see in the clip, since they don't even appear in the frame. And you guys saw the clip, he did just walk off. The woman who is walking me away is my own personal manager, and behind the booth, the only 2 people who were checking on me and comforting me were her and my friend. None of the TwitchCon staff came to ask what happened or if I was okay. My friend who was present told me Twitch security were also behind the booth afterwards, joking about how they didn't even see what happened and immediately laughing and moving on to talking about something else. So if no one was checking if I was okay or if I needed anything and they let the guy run away initially, I have no idea what anyone hired to keep the event safe was doing. In Twitch's statement, they said that the guy was immediately caught and detained. I'm sorry, but that is a blatant lie. He was allowed to walk away from my meet and greet, and I didn't hear he was caught until hours after he attacked me, and it felt like this only happened because my manager pressing for it, not because TwitchCon staff present thought it was a big deal. I have a lot more I want to say, but I will say it on stream later today instead of writing a book on here. Thank you guys again. Sorry you all had to see that. This is definitely my last TwitchCon, and it saddens me to say, as a 10-year off and on attendee of TwitchCon, I think other creators should seriously consider not attending in the future. I did not feel cared for or protected, even bringing my own security and staff. I can't imagine how creators without those options would feel. Stay safe, y'all. Everything is going to be okay. So Emiru, clarifying what had happened, paints a bit of a different story. The first time that I was reading through all this, I was really confused, and it comes down to the fact that they did not handle it in the way that they explained. And what's more peculiar is that apparently the manager had to push them, Emiru's manager had to push Twitch to get this guy detained. I'm bewildered that they would just let the dude walk off and that the security was just so oblivious to what was happening that they're just kind of like, what happened? That's crazy, moving on. It's just a very different picture than what Twitch was trying to present when they made their response on Twitter. Also, she confirmed that the security guard you saw in that clip that pushed the guy away wasn't even TwitchCon security. It was her own personal security she brought with, and as we're well aware now, it was a very good idea that she did that. Also, to kind of confirm that Twitch was just kind of lying about them detaining this dude and taking care of him, here's him just casually walking out of the front entrance of TwitchCon. Just walking out. This is another clip from inside of the event that happened shortly after she was attacked. Here's the guy. He's walking up behind them and just walking past over here. Wasn't stopped or anything. But I want to jump back to what Emiru had commented on, that her favorite bodyguard is banned from Twitch events because they held the arm of what seemed to be like a crazed stalker until the TwitchCon staff arrived.
I had a security guard 2 years ago where there was a guy following me around TwitchCon, and he like asked him to stop multiple times. My guard asked him and the guy wouldn't stop, so he grabbed the guy, but he didn't like hurt him. He was just holding the guy until like the con security came. And then for some reason they're like, yeah, because your security guard touched him, he's like perma-banned from the venue forever. But he didn't even hit him or anything. He just like held him while they waited for like the police to come. And
what the fuck? And
it was like my favorite security guard. I can't have him at TwitchCon anymore. I was just okay.
Now, genuinely, maybe there are legal reasons why that isn't okay, but I think that that should be something that should be known about, or at the very least, Twitch security should be able to take care of and monitor the creators that they have there at the capacity that is needed to prevent things like this, to prevent their own personally hired security from having to stop like a stalker following them. It's insane that that is what it comes down to, that because that dude literally was just holding the guy and just waiting for the proper authorities at that event to show up, that caused him to be banned. That is insane. And this brings us to Emiru uploading this video, which she had also live streamed, saying addressing what happened at TwitchCon. This video is 48 minutes long. I will leave a link down in the description to it if you guys want to watch it in its entirety. But I'm going to be covering some of the key points from this video, and I'll show you guys those clips. Now, this first clip, Emiru is speculating that had there not been someone who had recorded the event and posted on Twitter, because keep in mind, it wasn't Emiru herself that was able to film that, it was someone that was just attending TwitchCon. If they had not posted that video, they don't think that Twitch would have ever made an official response. Normally, I don't include things like this where it's just speculation and whatnot, but it's actually going to make sense with some of the further information that she brings up in this video.
I don't think that Twitch would have put out an official statement if that clip wasn't posted and going viral. And even after the fact that that clip was posted and going viral, as far as I know, the other people who had meet and greets today were not reached out to ask if they wanted extra security or if they even wanted to cancel their meet and greet. Like, maybe some people were, but I know for a fact Extra Emily wasn't. My personal manager made sure that she had extra security. No one reached out to her. Don't know about everyone, but I know that for a fact.
Yeah, you would assume that an event like this, where one of your content creators during a meet and greet gets attacked, that maybe you would be sending out a little heads up to the other ones, making sure they were all okay. But apparently that's not happening. And you may be thinking to yourself, gosh, Twitch is acting really lax about this. Well, it gets worse. Emiru alleges Twitch initially was only going to issue out a 30-day ban, a 30-day suspension is what that's called, to the guy that literally attempted to SA her.
My manager comes back to me and she's upset. She's like, okay, I've been talking to Twitch people and I'm really upset because I noticed a lot of negligence around the event and I'm not happy with the way that they're handling it now. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I asked them, you know, like, what are they gonna do about this? And you know what they said initially? They said, oh, well, he's banned from the platform for 30 days. What? And then she's obviously like, hello? Like, that needs to be indefinite. What the fuck are you talking about? Also, that's like nothing to do with anything. No one gives a fuck if he's banned on Twitch or not. Like, we're talking about the convention here. So they change it to indefinite. Takes an hour for that to happen, by the way. These two people are, the head of security for Amazon and the head of risk for Twitch.
No, I think the biggest issue that most people would have with that situation isn't, which is shocking, isn't that it was just that they were going to initially just issue a 30-day ban on the Twitch platform. Like, they weren't even talking about getting the guy kicked out of TwitchCon. The craziest part is that information was apparently relayed and given to Emiru's manager by the head of security of Amazon and the head of risk at Twitch. I'm sorry, what? If an incident that takes place at your event can lead into someone getting charges pressed against them, I feel like it should be percolating in your head that maybe a 30-day suspension on the online aspect of your business, it's probably a little too lenient. I'm blown away that that was even an option to these people, and at the bare minimum, I am hoping that these two people were horribly misinformed about the situation, because if that isn't the case, I have no fucking clue how these people have positions that they do in their respective businesses. Although, with how we've seen things ran at TwitchCon over the last couple of years, this unfortunately tracks. But really quick, as I had just mentioned, this is Emiru confirming that she is pressing charges against the dude that had assaulted her at TwitchCon.
I could have literally been stabbed yesterday. Literally, like... I have also seen people asking if I'm like taking any type of legal action. I am pressing charges against the guy with the police. As for anything else, I don't know yet because I've been having my manager handle all of those like side conversations.
So not only is she pressing charges against the individual, I think more interestingly, she might be looking into legal action against Twitch itself, which makes sense given this complete negligence of security for the people at their events. Something important to note too, Emiru wanted to do like a show there at TwitchCon, and the whole reason that she was doing a meet and greet in the first place is because they allowed her to do the show, but the condition of doing this was that she had to do a meet and greet.
So my meet and greet and not cancel her show because of the fact that the reason I cancel my meet and greet is I don't want to be in the same place for 2 hours because of people being weird.
Okay.
And then I'm under contract with them, so I can't cancel one and not cancel the other.
Interesting. Oh.
So I'm sorry,
I kept my meet
Emmy.
and greet because I wanted to keep my show. Surely it'll be
I'm
fine.
sorry, Emmy.
I'm sure everyone will be nice.
They required her to do the meet and greet to allow her to do this show, and they didn't properly staff security for it. And then to close out this video going to YouTube, she ends up revealing that there's going to be more information coming out. She's just waiting to get back home before she releases more info.
And the last thing that I want to say is I didn't really get a chance to talk about it because of, you know, all the things that were happening, but I kind of wanted to apologize for some people were talking about the clip of me getting kind of emotional at the end of the RV trip. that shit kind of just slipped out, but there's a lot of things that I haven't wanted to talk about that I think I will probably be talking about when I get home from TwitchCon.
Now this was tangentially related, but they were doing like an RV trip thing together, I believe, on their way to TwitchCon, things like that, and they did these like little confessionals inside the RV, and this is what she was referring to when she brought it up in that video we just watched.
And sometimes there's things in your life or people in your life that, you know, maybe they're not good for you, and chat, sometimes maybe you have to make those choices to take those people out of your life so you can make room for the people that are right for your life. You know?
A lot of people are suspecting that this has to do with Mizkiff. For anyone that doesn't know, they collabed for quite a long time. I believe Mizkiff shared a home with Emiru. It was like, you know, like a content house kind of thing. If that ends up being the case, that'll be content for a different video about this subject. But this bit has kind of derailed us from the TwitchCon event itself, so let's get back into that. Now, Dan Clancy ends up getting interviewed during the midst of this while at TwitchCon by an individual by the name of Taylor the Wrens. I'm not really interested in the politics of Taylor the Wrens or if they're a good or bad person. I am much more focused on, I think you guys should be too, of how Dan Clancy, the Twitch CEO, responds to the question that Taylor gives him.
Obviously, we saw one Twitch streamer yesterday, Emiru, get assaulted by a male fan, and a lot of streamers have, especially female streamers, have talked about, you know, the danger that they feel from these sort of toxic, I guess, parasocial kind of creeps. What are you guys doing to prioritize safety? Because I know also a bunch of Twitch content creators said that they were too scared to even come to TwitchCon this year, just in case something like what happened yesterday would happen.
The safety of our creators is the top priority. The challenge we face is a challenge in today's society. It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there. Okay, it's very different. You know, when I use other short form content and people say all sorts of stuff, well, I can't stop that. But when I live stream, they basically don't bother me. Now, what happened yesterday obviously was something that we care deeply about, securing this environment. You know, we're looking very closely at everything that happened there, and I care deeply about Emmy. She's a friend of mine, and so I want to see how we can support her. This is just something we have to keep working on. I think everyone identifies our tools in terms of trust and safety as the leaders in the industry about helping creators, but that means there's always more work to be done.
Emmy had posted earlier today that I guess this fan was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon. Why should streamers trust Twitch to keep them safe at TwitchCon? Because I feel like simultaneously this has been such a secure event to the point that even like journalists have had struggled. Like, you know, it is very secure, but here's this man that just walks up and is somehow able to bypass all these things. So why should they trust the platform when slip-ups or, you know, issues like this have happened?
Well, I mean, as you know, I think you toured some of what we do in terms of security. The reality is, even as you do a lot in terms of security in today's world, there are challenges that can present themselves, especially when someone is putting themselves out there. Right.
So that first part was interesting. Clancy is talking about how you have the power to ban people in your community that are, you know, acting parasocial and weird, and like you have that option to kind of cull those people out of your community. Is it just me, or does that sound a little like victim blamey? Like, you know, you could have made sure that this person didn't interact with you. I don't know if that's necessarily a point, even if that wasn't his intention. I don't know if that's the point to make right now, Chief. I don't think it really matters if you ban somebody like that from your community. I think that them crossing 3 separate barriers and completely cutting through everything and grabbing a creator on their face and attempting to kiss them, I think that's kind of proving that they're not really going to be handled in the appropriate way that you would expect if you were to ban some normal ass person from your chat. Doesn't seem like that's the kind of thing that's going to stop someone like that. Secondly, I don't think I've ever heard TwitchCon referred to as like the leaders in health and safety and security, as Clancy claims. Anytime I hear them getting brought up with those words like safety and security, it's usually negative. Now, Yeet had actually reposted this clip in particular, and there were some comments that I wanted to read to show you guys. So Tectone here put zero accountability, infinite excuses. Dan, your own staff did nothing. They laughed about it afterwards. You banned Emmy's only good security guard. This could have been much worse, and none of your own staff did shit. You are a joke. Another good comment here. I don't think he knows how streaming works. How are you going to ban a lurker? What about people who make hundreds of accounts? How do you control a community when you have 10,000 plus people watching you? Isn't Twitch a community? Maybe he should control his. And also, the point has been made over and over, there's no accountability in this really. They're like, yeah, you know, sucks it happened. They had so many errors in their systems. There were security guards that didn't even know what was happening. And the only person that stepped in was Emiru's own personal security guard. The second one, the one that's still allowed to attend the event. It's incredible how just a little bit of humility and recognizing that you guys fucked up would have gone such a long way. Asmongold had even tweeted out about this, saying, crazy to me that Twitch just straight up lied about protecting creators from sexual violence, and there's video evidence that proves it. The fact that an Amazon-owned company actively tried to cover up sexual assault should be a lot bigger story than it is. I think that's a great point, because they literally posted Twitch themselves were lying about the events and how they transpired to try to make themselves look better for handling it, like we talked about earlier. Now, I'm genuinely very curious to hear what you guys think. If any of you have gone to TwitchCon or have any experiences, please leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to read through some of these experiences. But with all that being said, if you found this video helpful for you in learning about what was going on here, consider liking the video. It helps boost it in the algorithm, gets it out to more people so they are aware of what's going on. And if you enjoyed how I covered it myself, want to see more, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. We're on our way to our 100K goal by the end of the year. And what is truly just a button tap for you means the world to me. So if you do either of those things, I really appreciate it. But seriously, regardless of if you do either of those things, thank you for watching my video. The fact that you stuck around this long is what allows me to do this for a living, and I really, really appreciate it. So thank you. But that's it. I'll see you guys later. Adios. Peace. Bye.